Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to Movies You Missed podcast.
Happy New Year!
We are not going to sing that song because neither John nor I like it.
No, we don't.
Instead, we are going to welcome you to a new 2026 the way we love to on this podcast, which is with two kick-ass action movies.
Hell yes. Oh, so what fun it was to revisit both of these movies again.
And revisit is the perfect word for it because neither you nor I had seen either of these movies in a little bit of time.
Well, I had seen mine back in theaters last year, but your
right.
pick I had not seen in like 5 years.
Nice. Well,
So yeah, it was still though great to revisit both, regardless of how long it's been.
Totally agree, and it's been a while for me for both actually. So
Great.
I was really excited for your pick too, and it's really nice to start the new year with two of our favorite directors too.
Oh hell yes.
Beyond discussing those two movies, we also like to check in with each other to see how things are going, especially because it's a new year. We're starting to get into the award season, so John and I are keeping an eye on all of that.
Oh yeah, award season. This Sunday, the Golden Globes are coming down with Nikki Glaser as the host. I am very excited to at least listen to her, but not so sure about what these awards are going to bring.
Yeah, we've just started talking about that a little bit, where last year was a great year for movies, but we're not as excited about this award season as we could be. It's a weird situation where we really did enjoy so many films in 2025, but there weren't any that, in terms of award worthiness, that got us really excited.
Well, I will push back on that. I've seen a few towards the end of this year that I am like, okay, yeah, well, actually, maybe just one. And I will.
So you'll only push back a tiny bit.
I guess I'll just push back a smidge on this
With one finger.
But just with one, like a light push. I was telling V just a little bit ago that I've taken myself out of a couple of film forums on Facebook because there are 3 movies that people just will not shut the fuck up about, and all 3 of them are nothing that I found to be super spectacular. However, there are 2 of those out of the 3 that I do really want to rewatch, and the other one I don't know if I ever want to watch again.
I will never watch one battle after another again.
Yeah, I don't think I will, unless a friend of mine comes over and is like, I never saw it. I'm like, all right, let's check it out. But overall, I'm just like, it's definitely a good year, but what is going to be award worthy? And there are other movies coming out before Oscar season, so one I'm looking forward to, but I don't know if it'll be Oscar worthy, is Wuthering Heights. I'm looking forward to that one. Definitely looking forward to Is This Thing On? And that's kind of it, though. Like, there's nothing else that I'm just like, oh my God, I can't wait.
But I will say we aren't dreading award season like we were last year.
That is absolutely true. Anything will be better than last year's horrendous, horrific abomination of an Oscars.
Precisely. So we are, in fact, looking forward to our Oscars episode coming up in a few short months, and also our 2025 recap episode, which, if the numbers continue to go the way they are, we're probably going to make it a 2-parter.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's likely to be a 2-parter.
Yes, because I think we have about 200 movies between the two of us to talk about, and that's too much in a 90-minute episode.
It is, and at least 100 plus will be on my side. I don't know how many you've seen yet, but I'm inching towards 101 in the next couple of days.
Jesus. Well, I'm excited to see what our final numbers will be, so stay tuned for that. And we will continue to talk about the new movies we've seen in theater or on streaming every week for each episode, including 2025 movies until the 2025 recap episode.
Yes.
There are a couple of 2026 movies coming out this month that I'm kind of looking forward to, but for the majority of the next couple weeks, they'll still be 2025 films.
Yes, absolutely. We will be discussing 2025 films up until the recap episode.
As we do every year. And so now is a good time to talk about the 2025 movies we've seen in the last week. So you want to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, John, what did you see?
I went and saw a new movie that I actually did not know anything about.
So, wait. New as in 2026 movie?
Yeah, first new 2026 movie came out January 2nd, so literally just last Friday.
Jumping right out of the gate. Damn.
I am, yeah. There's not a whole lot of 2025 left in the theater that I want to go see. So, once the Oscar noms come out, then I'm sure I'll be watching a lot more 2025 movies. But right now, with 2026 just kicking off, that's where I began the year in new movie watching. And I only knew about this movie just by scrolling through the Regal app and the fact that Daisy Ridley's in it. It is a movie, kind of a zombie movie. It's called We Bury the Dead.
Ooh, I've heard good things.
I don't know from who.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, this was an hour and a half that felt like it was 25 minutes. Like, it moves along, but it's just kind of like...
Not in the good way?
No, and there's this new trope that's going around these zombie movies, looking at you 28 years later, where there's a pregnant zombie, and
what?
Just like I'm done with that.
Zombies only care about brains.
Yeah, exactly. This was a different take. So the first 20 minutes of the movie, the exposition was good. The lead into everything was good. And then it just tanks. And I'm just kind of sitting there like, where is this likely to go after the reveal of the movie? And then I'm just kind of like, wow. When it ended, the 5 other people in the theater were like, and you could just feel the upset in the room.
The disappointment.
I give it, I give it a C-. Daisy Ridley was good. The movie was not.
Oh, yes. I've been hearing about her performance. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she is good. The movie itself is not. And I think Steve, Whiskey by the Fire, he said that he saw it. And I can't remember if he said that he enjoyed it or not, but
Steve, let us know.
Steve, if you enjoyed it, man, cool. I didn't.
Okay. Bummer.
Yeah, so starting off 2026 at the theater, not so well, but we'll see what happens this weekend with Greenland 2, and is this thing on?
Greenland
so we'll go.
2, oh my God.
Oh yeah, Greenland 2 Migration.
But I will say, didn't last year start off with movies you hated? It was a werewolf movie?
Oh, yeah, last year began with Wolfman.
Wolfman, yeah.
And Presence, and that was 2 of the worst movies that we'll talk about in our recap.
Because 2025 started off with you hating some movies, and then it became an amazing movie year. I'm actually okay with you not liking...
That's a solid point. I didn't reach back into my psyche to really recall how 2025 began because I tried to forget Presence and Wolfman, but I completely agree. So we'll see what happens the rest of the year.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's what I saw to begin the year, and now, V, I'm curious what you saw over the last week.
I saw a documentary.
Hey! Are we tied now?
I think so, but I totally lost count. We will not know the clear winner until our recap episode, I believe.
Sounds good.
But I did watch a documentary. I streamed it on Hulu, well, Disney, because Disney now owns Hulu and National Geographic, which is a National Geographic documentary. I grew up with David Attenborough voicing my childhood.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Love that man. I can't believe he's 99. I always wish nothing but good things for him. And so I watched the new documentary called Ocean with David Attenborough.
Oh, all right. Nice.
This documentary is gorgeous. It's incredible. It is terrifying, and there are some very hard scenes to watch because he and his crew dive into what we're doing to our oceans as humans. And the trolling and all of the horrific practices for fishing that we do. A lot of it is a bit depressing. There are some gorgeous shots and cinematography, of course. It's David Attenborough and his crew and National Geographic, so they're going to get great underwater shots of amazing marine life.
Oh, yeah.
But there are uplifting messages and a little bit of hope towards the end of the movie. And so it's not all dire, which is important because documentaries that are just straight up depressing are just so hard to watch, right? And so
that is absolutely correct.
It's really nice that there are some really nice messages and opportunities and hope for humans and things that we can do. And I highly, highly recommend this documentary, Ocean with David Attenborough, because it's so important for us to know what's going on. It's just such a great piece of information and scientific research. So Ocean with David Attenborough is on my can't miss list for the year. Highly, highly recommend it.
All right. I will have to check that out before we do our recap episode.
Please do. Yes.
Sweet.
Now that we're both done reporting on the new movies we've seen in theaters or on streaming, it's time to dive into the movies we picked this week. As many of you know, we also love to pick kick-ass action movies at the beginning of every year, and we've done that again this year with 2 movies most of you will probably recognize, if not have seen repeatedly, just like John and I.
Yes, absolutely. I hope.
Yes, these are 2 movies that they're not about...
These are staples.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about introducing you all to underrated gems this week. It's really about going back to some classics, because that's what these 2 are. Oh, God. Both of these movies are so much fun, and I think a really good combo because they're both sequels.
Yeah.
Many people argue they're both superior than the movies they follow.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into that, don't worry.
Yeah.
But since this is an odd episode, John gets to go first this week, so that means we're not going in chronological order, but that's okay because they're both separate enough that it doesn't really matter which one of us talks first, because I think we'll both love the conversation that both of us are going to bring to the table.
I hope so. No, I'm pretty confident about it.
As you should be, so I think that's a good signal to take it away.
I am ready to jump into this movie from 2008. I remember when it came out, I went and saw it with an ex-girlfriend and a good buddy of mine, and we absolutely had a great time. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched this movie since, but the last time I watched it was last May in 2025 in the theaters because there was a re-release of this trilogy, and I unfortunately didn't see the first one, but I did see this one and the one that follows it. This film comes to us, well, let's start with the person that created the characters, Bob Kane.
I was going to say, I know this name.
Yes, you do. This is actually the second version of this superhero that I've done before. Having done Batman Forever here at Movies You Miss Podcast, I am now jumping into the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Not really the trilogy, just jumping into the second one with the story from David S. Goyer and Christopher Nolan, screenplay by Christopher Nolan and Jonathan Nolan, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, Aaron Eckhart, Michael Caine, Maggie Gyllenhaal, and the late and magnificently great Heath Ledger. This is The Dark Knight. I have been wanting to do this episode, this movie in particular, on this show, and I'm going to tell you right now, watching this again this last week was just magnificent because it is, I would say it's almost perfect. It's like 98% perfection. There's a couple of things in the movie that I still kind of have a problem with, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. We're not going to get into that. We don't do a lot of spoilers. Well, we don't do any spoilers here, so we're not really going to jump into a whole lot because they are towards the end of the movie. However, this movie is so wonderful and magnificent. The soundtrack is fantastic. The IMAX sequences are amazing. I have it on Blu-ray. I don't have the 4K yet, but it definitely commands a 4K, especially with the IMAX scenes in this movie. I don't know, V, how you watched it, but my Blu-ray copy still looks and sounds incredible on my awesome TV that I have in my theater room. So I watched it as loud as I possibly could without making my ears bleed. And man, just every time I watch this movie, I get chills, and I applaud after certain sequences. Of course, you laugh. You definitely feel terror in this movie because of Heath Ledger's Joker. It's absolutely a menace in this movie, and then, of course, what happens to Harvey Dent later on in the movie is just so twisted, but gosh, the way they make him look is just incredible. I'll never forget the reveal of his face. It just, some of the best CGI back then in 2008. I can continue to praise this movie, but let's break it down a little bit for the audience that, if you haven't seen this movie, I truly don't know a single person that has not seen this movie, and that's actually being completely honest.
I don't know a single person in our generation who hasn't seen it. Let's put it that way.
All right, in our generation, yeah, I'll give you that. However, people in the generation before us, I know several people that saw it. I know my grandmother saw it, and she actually really liked it too. And I've never really been the biggest Batman fan. The DC world never really was in my wheelhouse. I was more Marvel growing up, but really only specifically Spider-Man. And I watched Spider-Man every Saturday morning. I still have those DVDs, and I was a big fan of the Tobey Maguire 2, not the third one. And then we have the Dark Knight trilogy. And I remember thinking, like, this is so interesting that Christopher Nolan's doing a Batman movie. Like, when Batman Begins came out, of course I went and saw it, and my gosh, it was so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian Bale was great. Liam Neeson was awesome. And then, of course, Cillian Murphy as the Scarecrow. Such a badass villain. And then I love the fact that they also have him in this one as well. They actually have him throughout the whole trilogy.
They do, and no worries about not being a huge fan of Batman. I'm a big enough fan for both of us, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it's funny that you've not done a single Batman movie, and now this is my second one with Batman Forever and now The Dark Knight.
What are you talking about? We did a Batman episode, and I did Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which is the best Batman movie ever made.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Mask of the Phantasm.
And the Batman episode was my idea.
Was it? That's right. Yes, okay. All right, well, forget what I just said, everybody.
We'll say that it is super sad that Bob Kane, the creator of Batman, the last Batman movie he ever saw before he died was Batman and Robin.
Oh, that's too bad.
It really is.
I wonder what he would have thought of Matt Reeves' Batman with Robert Pattinson, because I love that one too.
So I think he might have thought it was a little bit too dark, but I think he would have really enjoyed the detective aspect that was put back into the movie, because as the Christopher Nolan trilogy went on, I know we're kind of getting into the conversation, and I'll pause in a second so you can get into the plot.
No,
but
it's fine.
As the Christopher Nolan trilogy went on, him being a detective really waned. No pun intended.
Hey!
And so
wow.
I think he wouldn't have liked that as much, but there is a lot of detective work in this movie, which I really enjoyed.
Yes, there is. Very, so smart and sharp, the screenplay. Gary Oldman. Oh, I didn't mention Gary Oldman.
Oh, God, he's so good.
Detective Gordon, also Commissioner Gordon. And I remember when I first saw the trailer for this movie, and I was like, oh, yeah, I really liked Batman Begins. And, of course, I think they only showed Heath Ledger like 2 different times in the trailer. And it was one of those things where a lot of people had a lot of pushback because it was Heath Ledger, and he was the quote-unquote, like, 10 things I hate about you. You had just done Brokeback Mountain.
Huge
So a lot of
controversy.
people were like, what? Yeah, what is going on, Nolan? What are you doing? Heath Ledger was Christopher Nolan's only choice to play the Joker. And oddly enough, Christopher Nolan and Heath Ledger met and discussed him being Bruce Wayne for Batman Begins, but Heath Ledger did not feel he was the right fit to play Bruce Wayne. And we are very thankful for Heath Ledger's insight and
very true.
confidence in himself to say something like that to Christopher Nolan. But of course, we have him back here in The Dark Knight. Breaking down The Dark Knight. Woo, boy, it's a loaded breakdown, but I'm going to try and do this quick. Now, The Dark Knight is set 9 months after the events of Batman Begins. There's a new villain in town, a classic criminal, as he says to one of the mobsters in this movie. The Joker is now trying to get in with the mob and take down the Batman, and he's wreaking some spectacular havoc on the city of Gotham.
On everybody, actually.
On
including the mobsters.
everybody. Yeah, I love it. The introduction scene of the Joker when they're all in that like back kitchen watching that TV of Mr. Lau telling them that he had to move their money was great, and then Heath Ledger comes in with the magic trick. Oh my gosh. I lost my fucking mind in theaters when that happened. I was just it was so instantaneous but so brutal, and that right there was just the perfect introduction to the absolute insanity that the Joker was about to bring to this movie. Other than the Joker wreaking havoc on Gotham City now has a new district attorney named Harvey Dent, played by Aaron Eckhart. And, of course, Gary Oldman, just such a kick-ass detective. Gordon and Harvey Dent have a little bit of animosity towards each other early on in this movie because Harvey Dent comes from internal affairs, and he was investigating the MCU, which is where Gordon actually is the lead detective. And then, of course, this whole thing with first meeting the Joker, the mobsters are thinking that this guy's absolutely crazy, but he is ready to kill the Batman and bring the mob and everybody out of the woodwork because apparently they're all hiding now from the cops where they used to be out in the open and they were doing their thing without any real remorse or any issues of getting caught. And that is another reason why the opening of this movie is so awesome. This is... the opening heist in this movie is just ridiculous. Every time I see it, I get chills. And I love the fact that the opening sequence was shot on IMAX camera, so the screen is full. It's not a widescreen, especially for home viewing. And the music is so damn good. Hans Zimmer, he put together such a great score, not only for the entire movie, but the Joker theme is insane and so...
I think it's in a minor key. Yeah, I think it's in a minor key, which makes you really uncomfortable. And the violins that come in, they're just almost scratching at your skin. It's so perfect for his character, and it makes you so uncomfortable. He doesn't even have to come on screen because, like you said, that score will come up and you're like, oh, shit.
Yep.
Something's going to happen. On his way. But yes, about that intro that we've talked about multiple times on other episodes, but we haven't actually talked about yet on this one for the movie because we love that intro so much. William Finchner coming in.
Yes.
Oh, with that classic quote that we love to say on this show.
You have any idea who you're stealing from? You and your friends are dead.
Love it. Love it. But I do want, actually, for the first time in a long time, I want to use an audio clip of Heath Ledger's first introduction in this movie, just so if you haven't seen this movie, you can kind of get an idea of where the Joker's coming from with his plan to destroy the Batman.
Let's wind the clocks back a year. These cops and lawyers wouldn't dare cross any of you. I mean, what happened? Your balls drop off? You see, a guy like me...
Freak.
A guy like me. Look, listen. I know why you choose to have your little group therapy sessions in broad daylight. I know why you're afraid to go out at night. The Batman. See, Batman has shown Gotham your true colors, unfortunately. Dent, he's just the beginning. And as for the television's so-called plan, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them. And...
what do you propose?
It's simple. We kill the Batman.
If it's so simple, why haven't you done it already?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
How much you want?
Half. You're crazy. I'm not. No, I'm not.
I love how every scene with the Joker for the first third of this movie is giving us little bits and pieces of just the kind of person he is. And when there's a situation with Gamble a little bit later on and his men, and he's like, yeah. But there's only one opening. It's so chilling.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, there's a little bit of room for aggressive expansion, and we're going to have tryouts. Make it fast. And then he walks out. Oh, man. The costume is so kick-ass. The makeup is nuts. The hair. And it's crazy because the only way that, if you've ever been a fan of Heath Ledger, which I know majority of people were big fans of Heath Ledger, but he really disappeared into that role, the costume, the makeup, the stance, the walk, the voice, the laugh. But you know it's Heath Ledger because of that chin and his bone structure in his face. But it's still there's somebody else behind those eyes. And he just completely killed it, no pun intended, as this character. And I've read so many things and seen so many interviews with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale and Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman even. And they're all saying that Heath Ledger would come on set and everybody would just kind of freeze and be very worried about what was going to come out of his mouth. Because, like we all know, with Tenet and Inception and even The Dark Knight, a lot of the actors only got pages of the script that they were in. So they didn't know what was going on for the rest of this movie. So the moment where the Joker does infiltrate the Harvey Dent fundraiser at Bruce Wayne's penthouse, Michael Caine had never met Heath Ledger yet. He had no idea what to expect, and he got genuinely freaked out because of how Heath Ledger was bringing his character to life in that scene. And I love that scene, especially when he grabs Rachel and he starts talking about how he got the scars. Now, he did that a couple times already in the movie, and they're always a different story. So it's like, oh, geez, what this guy... what did he do? How did these scars actually... do you want to know how I got these scars?
Which makes him so much scarier.
Killer.
So much scarier. I love how Christopher Nolan wrote this because in the beginning, you hear about his dad doing it, and you almost start to build a little bit of empathy. This guy never had a chance. He was completely traumatized and abused as a kid. Okay. And then he lies again to Rachel about how he got these scars. And you're like, being an unknown makes him terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
I love
how
was a
cool thing
he wrote that so much.
Yeah, and Jonathan Nolan and Christopher Nolan both had the idea to go a little bit into his backstory, but they scrapped all of that because they wanted the Joker to be absolute, and they wanted the audience to just be like, this guy has always been like this.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And then he's only that, right? It's not, what was he before this? And was he a real guy? Or who's underneath the mat? No, none of that. It's, I love it. So it's such great decision-making studying for that writing. And there are only a couple of key shots that I see Heath Ledger in this. Otherwise, he completely disappeared into this role. There are so many times where I'm like, I cannot see the man from Brokeback, or I cannot see the man, the young man from 10 Things I Hate About You. It's just, or A Knight's Tale, right? I mean, we are fans of Heath Ledger on the show. We've picked several of his movies, and I think actually you've done all the picking so far, but yeah,
that's true.
My favorite scene of his, only because it's so funny because it seems like he's just having fun. Heath Ledger himself is when he's hanging out the back of that cop car. I don't know why. There's something about that scene that just makes my heart happy, thinking, wow, it just looks like Heath Ledger himself is having a good time in that shot.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, that's always warmed my heart, even though it's a really messed up scene.
Yes, it is.
After horrific events. But yeah, I love that shot so much. Anyway, sorry, continue with the plot summary. My apologies.
Oh, yeah, where was I in plot summary? Other than Harvey Dent and Gordon having the animosity, and we have the Joker now terrorizing and trying to figure out a way to get in with the mob, but also get half of the mob money because he is putting himself out there to kill the Batman, and also have Batman reveal himself. And because of everything going on in town, people are starting to die, not just by the Joker, but by other means. And Bruce Wayne, as we all know, Bruce Wayne is Batman. That's not really a spoiler.
Spoiler!
Yeah, I know, right? And Bruce is having a real hard time trying to figure out if he should out himself. The thing is, like, what is the Joker going to do if he actually does out himself? So there's a whole bunch of tension throughout this entire movie. It's really a will he, won't he sort of a thing. And on top of that, and the Joker, and Harvey Dent, we also have the backstory of Rachel and Bruce, of course, from the first one. In the first one, Batman Begins, Katie Holmes plays her. Katie Holmes didn't take the role of Rachel Dawes in The Dark Knight because she went to go make mad money with Queen Latifah and Diane Keaton, rest in peace.
I thought it was because she got married to Tom Cruise around that point in time, and he didn't want her making a blockbuster, and then she got pregnant.
I didn't find any of that info out. Katie Holmes has actually gone on record saying that she didn't take The Dark Knight because she wanted to go work with Diane Keaton.
Which is fair, but it's also turning down Christopher Nolan, so that's kind of a Sophie's choice. I get I can imagine that could have been hard.
I hope it was hard for her, but I never did see Mad Money, and I hope the movie was good. But I remember when it was Maggie Gyllenhaal, I kind of had a problem with it. But then halfway through the movie, I'm like, no, I actually like the strength and confidence that Maggie Gyllenhaal brought to Rachel Dawes, because she also is in the law enforcement world. She's one of the attorneys that is trying to help Harvey Dent as the district attorney bring down these mobsters and actually bring down Maroney, who is played by Eric Roberts. And I've had the pleasure of working with Eric Roberts.
I mean, he's
Eric
got
Roberts
a crazy reputation, but
he absolutely does.
Love him in both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. He's so good at playing this sleazy, greasy, awful, oiled-up mobster. And the line he has to that blonde in the club.
Oh, of course. One of the best.
I love it so much. Oh, my gosh. It's so funny because normally I don't think he's a great actor. He is fantastic in these two movies.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if he's really just playing himself.
You know what's so funny? My friend said that when we were watching The Dark Knight together the other night. He's like,
oh, sweet.
Eric Roberts is just playing himself in this. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why he was amazing.
Yeah. What makes you think I want to hear you talk? I love but like I said, I have worked with Eric Roberts. The first network television show I ever got hired on as a staffer was called The Player with Wesley Snipes. I know I've talked about this in the past. And Eric Roberts was on the first episode that I worked on. And I spent an entire week with Eric Roberts, and I wore different metal shirts every day. And he was like, John, what's that metal band's name? And I was like, oh, this is Agalloch. Oh, this is Meshuggah. Oh, this is Dark Tranquillity. This is Soilwork. And he's like, I'm going to look up these bands. On the final day, he came to me and said, I listened to 2 of those bands that you gave me. I got to tell you, I'm a fan of these bands, man. Thank you for showing me these bands. Like, you got it, Eric Roberts. And I had, of course, gushed to him about both The Dark Knight and Batman Begins as well, because this was, when I was on The Player, this was like 2016, I think. So it was 8 years after The Dark Knight.
But it was before working with his daughter on Scream Queens, right?
Oh, is Is
Emma Roberts is Eric
Emma
Roberts'
Roberts his daughter?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh, I did not even put that together. I knew that Eric Roberts and Julia Roberts were related. I did not know that but I knew Emma Roberts was Julia Roberts' niece, but I didn't know how. I never put that shit together. Holy shit, that's hysterical.
But also I don't think they have the best relationship, so it's probably good you never mentioned anything.
Yeah, probably.
Oh my god.
But no,
awesome.
that's wild. So,
oh my god.
So, Brian, I think that's pretty much the plot. We definitely don't do spoilers here, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. That's suffice to say, for the rest of The Dark Knight, the 2-hour and 30-minute magnus opus that is The Dark Knight, we are treated to Heath Ledger's greatest performance, which he did win the posthumous Oscar for. He won every major award that year, the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice Award, the BAFTA, the SAG Award. I feel like had he lived through the finishing production of this movie, he still would have won the Oscar because he was
I always question that.
Do you really? Interesting.
We'll get into it in a second. No, it's okay. We'll get into it in a second. Go ahead and finish summarizing the plot first.
All right, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. And on top of that, Christian Bale kicking ass, and we got Morgan Freeman and Gary Oldman, Aaron Eckhart, and Eric Roberts. And it's a treat of a movie, and I will never forget seeing it the first time. I have probably seen it 20 times now since 2008. I've had it on DVD. I have the Blu-ray. I still got to get the trilogy on 4K. But watching it last year in theaters was like seeing it again for the first time, and it was just breathtaking. And then watching it at home in my theater room in the dark with my Bose sounds just turned up as high as it can go. It just chills down my spine, and I just applauded, and I was sitting here with King Louie, and after certain scenes, I would just put my hand on and be like, dude, it's so good! And he would look at me just like, what the hell are you talking about, and go right back to sleep. Yeah, every time Heath Ledger's on screen, just you tense up because you're just not sure what the hell he's going to do next. And that's another reason why I love this movie so much. And Christopher Nolan just knocked it out of the freaking park with The Dark Knight. And I know that I don't actually know anybody that doesn't like the movie. So that's saying something. In a minute, we'll get into a little bit more BTS because I've got some interesting stuff, but a lot of it has to do... A lot of it's kind of the same stuff, unfortunately. The behind-the-scenes making of on a lot of the stunts and working with the IMAX camera was super fascinating. But V, I want to hear what you thought about your rewatch. I don't know when you said you had seen this last, so let's hear what you thought of The Dark Knight from 2008.
All right. Well, it's been about 8 years or so I was really happy to revisit it. I remember seeing this in a packed theater on opening night with my old roommate, Kevin, who I love still to this day, great guy, and we had a lot of fun going together. Unfortunately, because it was a packed theater, there was a guy sitting directly next to me who coughed the entire film. Which drove me crazy for several reasons. So that was a little bit rough. After that, watching it at home was actually a better experience, of course. And like you, I've seen it probably at least 10 times. I've always really loved this movie, but like I said, I haven't seen it in a handful of years, and I was really shocked this time around that I didn't love it as much as I remember loving it. It's a great film. It just didn't land for me as much as it used to.
Interesting.
Part of me was I noticed some inconsistencies, like in the very beginning, this guy Lau is laundering money for the mob. There's a cut where he's talking to Bruce Wayne and they're talking about a deal because he is pretending to be a legitimate businessman. And then all of a sudden he left Gotham because he's being hunted by the cops and the cops are talking about he's a bad guy. I'm like, where did that information come from? How come the cops know this? There was no scene that ever showed us the cops zeroing in on Lau. And I'm like, where did this come from? And so I thought that was a continuity issue. There were a couple other pieces like that throughout the movie where I was like, wait, why would they do this? Or this doesn't seem right. And like, for example, there's this guy who's trying to find out the identity of Batman by going through the archives of Wayne Enterprises. And I just thought, why wouldn't Lucius Fox delete all of those files? He's smart enough to know he should delete everything. And so for me, I was like, why would he find that? Come on. But for me, a big piece of this, the biggest piece actually, that really made me start questioning Christopher Nolan himself. Don't get me wrong, still love the guy, still love his movies, but...
Podcast is over.
But I don't think he writes women well. His movies are 98% men, and
That's true.
Women that are in his movies either suffer or die solely to move the plot forward and to give motivation to his male characters. They are not
Interesting.
agents upon themselves. In fact, they are just tools to drive things forward. And that was really started to bother me, especially in this film.
Huh.
I think the one
Fascinating.
female character that he wrote as actually her own person, actually there's maybe 1.5, who are actually their own person, is Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer's wife, played by Emily Blunt, is an incredible character. She plays it really well. She was nominated for an Oscar. Great. Florence Pugh, kind of. But yeah, think about all the other movies that Christopher Nolan has made. How many women are in them? How many women stay alive? And how many women are there to serve more than just moving the plot forward or motivating the men?
I would say it would be this one and Oppenheimer.
Right.
No other movie do other women die.
No,
Christopher
that's
Nolan movie because-
not true. There's Inception is a huge one, first and foremost.
Oh, well, I guess that's true. Yeah, that's true.
There's no women in
Maul
Dunkirk.
with Marion Cotillard. No, there are
Memento.
no women in Dunkirk.
His wife is dead. That's why he's doing
Memento.
this.
His wife is dead, but Carrie-Anne Moss is also in the movie, and she doesn't die.
Yeah, but she's in there for a hot second, and she's only a small character. The Prestige, the whole thing is because a woman dies.
With Scarlett Johansson. Yeah. Fascinating.
So I have a little bit of a problem with that now, but that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a fantastic action movie. This is a masterpiece of filmmaking. I really enjoy my time. It's incredibly entertaining. I personally just don't think it's a masterpiece for me anymore, but I think that it's a solid A- movie. It's not that it's horrible. It's not that I'm going to tell everybody not to watch it anymore. It's nothing like that. It just feels a little tarnished for me compared to the last time I watched it 8 years ago.
Well, that's too bad. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I sat on my couch silently while the credits rolled and was like, what just happened? It's really sad. Don't get me wrong. I'm very bummed out to have this conversation with you. And there are so many pieces of the film that I still loved. The stunts are incredible. As we said, the intro, I love talking about Heath Ledger being cast now because we were alive and adults when he was cast back in 2008, because now it seems like, oh yeah, of course, he was amazing. People lost their goddamn minds when it was announced that he was cast. Like, people were pissed. They were talking about boycotting the film. They were not happy at all. And in terms of him winning and being nominated, the other nominees were Josh Brolin for Milk. He was really good in that.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Shannon for Revolutionary Road. Philip Seymour Hoffman for Doubt. He was incredible.
Yeah, that movie's not that good, though.
And Robert Downey Jr. for Tropic Thunder.
Oh, shit.
Now, don't get me wrong. I think Heath Ledger deserved all of his wins. And I think that he carried this movie spectacularly. He stole every single scene he was in. And that was the thing for me watching this movie again after a big spell of not seeing it. He is magnetic. He is so good. And before I was like, oh yeah, he's a great villain. But now watching it again, he's going up against Christian Bale and Gary Oldman, arguably two of the greatest actors in the last 50 years, right? Incredible talent. And he is stealing scenes from them. You have to be next level in order to do that. And so, yes, I do believe that he deserved all of these wins. However, if he had lived through them, I don't think the Academy would have been brave enough to give Best Supporting Actor Oscar to a man in makeup in a superhero movie. That's where I draw the line, because I think he deserved it. I don't think they would have given it to him, though.
Yeah, that's a solid point. They might not have. They might have given it to Robert Downey Jr., who was in makeup.
No, of course not. They would have given it to Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Which was not... I did not like that movie.
Right, but that's an Oscar-type movie.
It is an Oscar-type
That's a movie.
So
Oscar...
was Milk.
Exactly. Both of those movies, and I think Sean Penn even won for Milk, didn't he?
Sean Penn absolutely won for Milk. Yeah.
And rightly so. But those are two movies that
and so
Oscar...
did Dustin Lance Black for screenplay, yeah.
Right. But those are two movies that the Oscars love to vote for, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we are really looking forward to this year's Oscars when they've now announced the mandate that you actually have to watch all the nominees before you vote.
That's for damn sure. Yeah.
Another aspect of this film that I do not like is Maggie Gyllenhaal. I do not think she's good casting. I do not think she's a good actress. And I do not like the way Rachel is written because all she is pissed the whole time. She's just really one-dimensional, and it carried over from the first movie. It didn't really do anything for me at all in the writing or her performance for that character. But you're right. I do love the score. I still listen to Hans Zimmer's score of all three of these movies.
Oh, yeah.
And one scene in the film that you didn't talk about, I know it's really famous and everybody talks about it, but it doesn't matter because Michael Caine delivers it so well, is when he tells the bandit story.
Criminals aren't complicated, Alfred. We just need to figure out what he's after.
With respect, Master Wayne, perhaps this is a man you don't fully understand either. A long time ago, I was in Burma. My friends and I were working for the local government. They were trying to buy the loyalty of tribal leaders by bribing them with precious stones. But their caravans were being raided in a forest north of Rangoon by a bandit. So we went looking for the stones. But in 6 months, we never met anyone who traded with him. One day, I saw a child playing with a ruby the size of a tangerine. The bandit had been throwing them away.
So why steal them?
Well, because he thought it was good sport, because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I find it interesting that you think Rachel's pissed off the whole time. I didn't think she was mad really at all during the movie.
Every single time she talks to Bruce, they're arguing.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, but she doesn't talk to Bruce only in the movie. Like, there's scenes with her and Aaron Eckhart that are good. There's scenes where she's interrogating the mobster that are pretty good. I can understand you not liking Maggie Gyllenhaal. I used to not like her, but I have come around to her.
The scene with her interviewing Lau, I think, is the one good scene with her in the movie. Or the one good scene of her in the movie, I should say. But it's a 2.5-hour movie. There's so many other aspects to it that I'm more than happy to talk about, too. And especially the stunts. I mean, flipping over that giant truck. Like, we could totally talk about that. Blowing up a hospital.
So awesome.
We could talk about that, too.
Yeah, the hospital blow-up thing was pretty badass. Of course, practically done because it's Christopher Nolan. And there's a vignette on the BTS on the Blu-ray that talks about how they set that all up because Christopher Nolan didn't want it to just blow up into pieces. He wanted it to topple the way it topples in the movie. They had set up a whole shit ton of cameras to capture a lot of it, and they, in editing, were planning on adding a lot more. But Nolan was like, you know what? I just want to have a wide shot of it just getting demolished, and that's all we really need. And I thought that was a completely magnificent way to show that instead of like, oh, here's this floor. No, it was brilliant. Because so many other movies do that. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, wow, the bathroom's blowing up. You know, who gives a shit? The building's blowing up. We don't need to see every fucking floor. So yeah, I'm with you on that. And that whole that scene with the bat pod and him just roping it up and that truck going up and it just no sound until that thing comes crashing down on the street. Just so awesome.
The Batpod is a badass bike, even though it would be a beast to try to steer.
Oh, yeah. The stunt driver that was on it took about a week, I think they said, in the documentary that I watched, for him to actually maneuver it and get it to work just right. And he was a pilot and ended up being very confident that he could do it for the scenes, and he sure as hell did, because the scenes on that Batpod are so badass.
Well, and I love how it comes to fruition as well.
Yes. Oh, so cool. There is a new bat suit in this movie, and the reason for the whole thing where Bruce Wayne's telling, when he tells Alfred while he's stitching himself up from the night before, that he needs a new bat suit so he can turn left and right. And that's kind of an inside joke to the Michael Keaton Batman suit, yes. Because if we all remember, he's just kind of using his shoulders to turn his head. And also, Christopher Nolan was hoping that the studio would back the idea of making a new bat suit because he did not necessarily like the bat suit in Batman Begins.
It is a bit clunky, that's true. I really do love Robert Pattinson's Batsuit in The Batman.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And I really like that they finally acknowledge that you have to wear black grease paint over your eyes in order to make that suit work. And it's the first Batman movie where he takes off the cowl and he actually has all of that on his eyes. And I'm like, finally, thank you for being realistic about that piece of it.
Yeah, that always kind of cracked me up in the other movies, too. This is actually kind of a fun piece that I learned while doing a little bit of research and reading online about the production of this movie. Morgan Freeman was also in the middle of shooting Wanted in Chicago during the production of The Dark Knight. So he would go back and forth to each production on certain days that he was scheduled for each movie. And the writer of Wanted, he and his wife apparently went to go visit the set of The Dark Knight and ended up thinking that they could sit on the Bat car, and they got escorted away from set because they thought that they were cool enough to infiltrate Christopher Nolan's set. Stupid asses.
Oh, immediate disrespect. No way.
Yeah.
I've lost all
Like,
respect for both of those people. No, don't. How dare you?
Who do you think you are?
How dare you? And you should know better, given who you are.
Yeah.
But last summer, I forgot to mention this. Last summer, my family went on a vacation and we landed in Chicago and actually took one of the boat architectural tours for Chicago.
Oh, cool.
And it was so fun because there were several moments where the tour guide pointed out locations for where the trilogy was filmed, the Batman trilogy was filmed. And so that was really fun too, to see those in real life.
That is pretty badass.
Great city to pick for Gotham.
Oh, definitely, yeah. What's pretty wild to me about this movie and all the other Batman movies is Gotham is like a culmination of not just Chicago, but New York and L.A.
Yes.
If you pay attention to some of the skyscrapers.
Mm-hmm, in a very dark, depressing way versus Metropolis that is the bright and shiny New York City.
Right, exactly. I always liked that.
Me too, yeah.
And let's talk about the score real quick before I drop a little bit more Heath Ledger stuff on our audience. Hans Zimmer, like we mentioned, the score for the Joker, he early on in production, Christopher Nolan was working with him like he always does, and said that he wanted something new for the Joker. And so Hans Zimmer put together like a good 900 to 1,000 piece thing of music for Christopher Nolan to listen to while he was on a flight from Chicago to Hong Kong. And everything was working, but it wasn't exactly landing for Christopher Nolan. So Christopher Nolan, being the guy that he is and being the perfectionist that he is when it comes to the scores of his movies, with Hans Zimmer, no less, he said that he wanted something that was very like what he gave him, but something different that would give people the chills. So what Hans Zimmer did was he took out piano wire and ran razor blades on the piano wire to come up with the 2-note Joker theme that we hear in this movie. Just for the earlier concept of the music, it was a razor blade run on piano wire. However, he did hire a cellist to do the notes, and there's a video of Hans Zimmer and the cellist actually recording it, and it's really awesome to watch.
I just gotta look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, you totally do. I'm about to run out of time, but just a little bit more about Heath Ledger because we can't say enough great things about Heath Ledger. A lot of people have also said that Heath Ledger stayed in character most of the time, but he did come out of character, and there was a scene where Harvey Dent is in the hospital and the Joker shows up. And
Funniest
it's a
scene of the whole
hilarious and it's a hilarious moment, but then it gets really dark and the dialogue is just magnificent where the Joker is telling Harvey Dent to introduce a little anarchy and how, if you tell people the plan, things start to go to plan, nobody really actually freaks out about it, but if something different goes off, then that's when people start losing their minds. Okay. And after they ended up shooting that scene, there was a moment of improv where Harvey Dent actually threw his hands at him and he grabbed his hands during the scene, and when they cut, Heath Ledger walked up to him after they unstrapped him from the bed and said, "Hey man, that's what acting's all about, bringing something fresh during the take. Hell yeah, let's go have a drink." And that was the end of that scene. So that is pretty much my time. I don't have a whole lot else to discuss for The Dark Knight, except that it is a great flick. If you have not seen it, it is currently streaming on HBO Max. I just wanted to talk about the budget real quick. The budget was $185 million.
Worth every penny. And I do want to say, because you were talking about that scene, and that scene is so well crafted from every aspect of it is so well done. I do want to say, especially for a superhero movie, this screenplay, it doesn't feel like a superhero film. I think that's why it's always talked about as one of the best ever made, because he wrote it as a dark action movie, not as a superhero movie, and I think that was so important.
Definitely, yeah. It's very not comedic and stylized like the other earlier Batmans. And that's
people
another
are
reason why I
talking
like
like
Matt
humans
Reeves as well. Yeah, yes, exactly. And all the detective stuff and the stuff in the police stations, all really good. So $185 million budget. The movie came out on July 18th of 2008. I did see it opening weekend. Opening weekend, it brought in $158.4 million. Domestically, it brought in $534.9 million. And worldwide gross was $1 billion. This was the first superhero movie to cross the $1 billion mark. And there you have it. That's The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. I believe this is my fourth Christopher Nolan movie. Christopher Nolan movie. This is my fourth one, and there's more to come, everybody.
Fabulous.
So now it's time to rewind the clocks and get into V's pick for this week. V, what do you say?
I say that's a great idea. Thank you so much for picking The Dark Knight. It was wonderful to revisit it, especially streaming it on HBO Max.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, as you like to say, a feast for the eyes. It really was. It's so, so well shot. And like I said, I think it still holds up to this day. It just, went from an A+ to an A- for me. Not a huge, drastic drop.
Not a huge downgrade.
Don't worry. I don't hate it or anything like that. It was just shocking to me, considering I've always said it's one of my all-time favorite action films.
All right, there you go.
Tastes change now that we're over 40.
Apparently they do.
All right, let's go ahead and get into it. We are talking about a movie that is celebrating its 35th anniversary this year.
Wow.
I am talking about a film written and directed by James Cameron, who is another favorite of ours on this podcast. Both of ours, actually. Starring the great and inspiring Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
As well as the muscles from Brussels, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I am talking about the sequel to the incredible original that was released in 1984, which was a great year. I am talking about the 1991 action blockbuster Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Ooh, that was really good.
I love that soundtrack so much.
It's a good score. It really is. I have been watching this movie since, I will admit, I was way too young, but I did see this movie before I saw Aliens, because Aliens was much more violent, so I think my parents let me watch this first. And not only did it teach me that women could be strong, they could kick ass, they could hold their own. God, Linda Hamilton was such a great role model in a lot of ways in this film.
Oh, yeah.
But it also taught me that kids could totally swear, which was not a good lesson to learn at that time. I also watched this film before watching the original, which is probably pretty good because the original does have a pretty explicit sex scene in it and a lot more violence.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been watching this movie for almost as long as it's been out. I've been enjoying it ever since, but I hadn't seen it in a handful of years, I think more than 8 actually. So I'd seen The Dark Knight way more recently than I'd seen Terminator 2, but I saw it so much growing up as a kid and as a teenager. So it was nice to take a little bit of break, and I hadn't seen it on my big TV yet before, and so God, that was so fun.
I'll bet.
Just felt like I was a kid in a candy store with this film on the big screen. It's streaming on Hulu right now if you guys want to, and it's a pretty high quality version, which is really nice as well. And I love how much the CGI and the practical effects held up in this film. I think these two directors paired together this week was actually a great choice because they love practicality as much as they do.
Yes.
And as everybody knows, practicality is one of our favorite things on this podcast, so it was really, really nice to see both of these. Okay, so let's get into Terminator 2. For those of you who have not seen either the original Terminator or the sequel, this movie, I'm going to break them both down a little bit for you. So originally, in the 1984 The Terminator, Linda Hamilton plays a young woman named Sarah Connor. She is just a normal woman. In The Terminator, she's very meek, she's very scared, especially when a Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, is sent back in time to kill her. And the reason that happens is because she supposedly is the mother of a man who is a revolutionary, and he leads all humans in the fight against the machines that are actually AI that become self-aware in 1997 and try to kill us all.
Yeah.
And there's a man sent back in time to help protect her named Kyle Reese. So that is the premise of the original movie. So in the sequel, she now has a son who's 12 or so, which doesn't quite make sense because the first movie is in 84 and this movie was in 91 and the end of the world's supposed to happen in 97. So I'm not really sure of the timeline here. So
Well, I guess we can look at it this way. Terminator 2 opens up in 2029, and we do hear about John Connor being the resistance and all that stuff against the machines.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know we only see John Connor as an adult for a very brief moment in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I like my long titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's got to be in his late 20s, just a little beaten down
What?
from
No,
running.
he's at least in his 40s. What are you talking
You
about?
think?
Oh God, yeah.
2029. Interesting.
If he was born in 84, he will be in his at least mid 40s in 2029.
I guess that's true.
It's 2026 now, and we're in our 40s.
Are we? Shit.
So anyway, let's just accept that it's a movie magic timeline. It's fine. But John Connor in this movie, Terminator 2, is in fact 12 or 13 or so. He's old enough to be a bit of a shit to his foster parents and ride
Just
a motorcycle. So there's that. But you talked about the intro a little bit. Let's actually dive into that.
3 billion human lives ended on August 29th, 1997. The survivors of the nuclear fire called the war Judgment Day. They lived only to face a new nightmare, the war against the machines. The computer which controlled the machines, Skynet, sent 2 Terminators back through time. Their mission, to destroy the leader of the human resistance, John Connor, my son. The first Terminator was programmed to strike at me in the year 1984, before John was born. It failed. The second was set to strike at John himself when he was still a child.
So the nice thing is we are set up very helpfully by Linda Hamilton in case anybody forgot about the original or just didn't see it and went into theaters watching T2 instead. No problem. And also just a reminder that in 3 years, it's going to be 2029. So AI will probably take over by then. We only have to hold on for 3 more years until we can forget about everything else. Have we learned nothing? That is my question. We've learned nothing. Right?
Nothing at all.
Because there are so many movies about AI taking over this, The Matrix, that really give us a blueprint on how badly this all could go. And it seems like we're just ignoring all of it. The Borg from Star Trek. Come on, people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all happened in the future. We're just working our way towards it.
Apparently. So, in the past, back in 1991, a new Terminator is sent back to kill John, and then another one is sent back to protect him. And the cool thing about this movie that was very shocking to everyone when they watched it in theaters is that there's a bit of a role reversal. As so many of you know, and I don't really think this is a spoiler because Arnold has really built his career off of this role, so even if you've never seen this movie, you know that he's a badass Terminator that comes back in time and tries to protect John Connor. And that was a huge thing back in 91 because James Cameron actually filmed the trailers and teasers for this film to make sure that it wasn't spoiled that he was actually the good guy in this movie this time around.
Ah, very cool.
He spent $185,000 on the teaser.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so who was the machine sent back in time to kill John Connor? Well, it's Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
He is so great in this role. He is so terrifying. He studied predators and how they move, especially bald eagles and sharks, in order to figure out how he wanted to move as this killing machine. We've talked about Robert Patrick briefly before because he was in The Faculty, one of my previous picks.
Yes.
He also plays Johnny Cash's dad in Walk the Line, a movie you hate, but it's a good reference point for people.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He does. I forgot about that.
He takes over for David Duchovny in the last couple seasons of The X-Files, and he was really good in it, actually.
Oh.
He's also in a great horror movie about alien abductions called Fire in the Sky that came out in the 90s.
Ah, I gotta see that movie.
Yes.
I've heard it's so good.
You do. And he also reprises the role of the T-1000 from this movie in Wayne's World.
Yes. Have you seen this boy? There's a great meme out right now that's like, if things had gone different and it's Robert Patrick at his John Connor's foster parents' house. It's like, do you have a photograph of John? And the mom's like, no, we don't. Credits, written and directed by James Cameron. Like, that was it.
Perfect.
I love that, yeah.
And
there'd be no story.
No, there wouldn't, unfortunately. Thankfully, we have this one, and John Connor's foster parents are played by Xander Berkeley, who's a great character actor who you will all recognize from a lot of different places, including Air Force One. He's a Secret Service agent for Harrison Ford in that movie. But also, his foster mom is played by Jeanette Goldstein, who is Vasquez in the movie Aliens.
Yeah. She's also in Titanic.
She is. She's the poor woman with the 2 kids. That's right. God.
Yes.
That's a messed up storyline.
Mm-hmm.
But I love her in Aliens so much. Hey, Vasquez, have you ever been mistaken for a man?
No, have you?
Oh, God, she's awesome. And she's totally different in this movie. She's actually hard to recognize. It's pretty cool. So young John Connor, who's played by Edward Furlong, he didn't really do much after this, unfortunately. He's just in some really B-movie stuff. The only other movie that I really recognize him from is American History X, where he plays the younger brother. It's
talk about a tough
such an incredible film, but I never want to see that movie again.
I've only seen it once and have never seen it again.
Right. It's highly recommend for anyone who's never seen American History X. Please, please, please watch it. It has such an incredible story and message, but oh, God, it's rough.
It is.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. So now we have the Terminators, both the good and the bad, searching for John Connor. As you said, one of them goes to his foster parents' house. Arnold is walking around after he goes into a biker bar and asks for clothes, boots, and a motorcycle, which he then gets. And I love where he walks in, because traveling through time, apparently you can't be sent clothes. You can't be sent with
apparently
clothes.
Apparently not. Yeah.
And so both of these guys arrive in 1991, buck naked, and Arnold walks into a bar, and I love how everybody's startled, and then the waitress walks by, and she's like, ooh!
Yeah, that's so hilarious.
So he's on a bike, and it's really cool because it's back before Arnold was too famous, because they allow him to ride this motorcycle on the roadways and film it. So that was really fun to watch. So I was like, oh yeah, he's really riding it. And now that both Terminators have made contact with John, not only is there some fantastic action with it, including in the viaducts of LA, which is such a good chase scene. Oh my God.
Yes, it is.
And there's a moment where Robert Patrick, as the T-1000, the bad guy, is driving this very large tow truck, and it can't fit under one of the overpasses, and it shears off the roof. And that actually really had to happen because the tow truck really couldn't fit in the viaduct under those overpasses. Wow. And so James Cameron's like, cool, let's shear it off. And they did.
Love that.
And now, thankfully, Arnold, as the T-101, he's an older model, has saved John Connor temporarily. They're now looking to hide. And first, John suggests going to his foster parents' house. The Terminator says, no, that's the next place this guy would look. We're absolutely not going there. Okay. Then John says, well, what would happen next? And Arnold says, well, he's probably going to go after your mother. And John rightly freaks out and says, no, we have to go save her. Unfortunately, Sarah Connor has been locked in a Pescadero State Mental Hospital since right after the first movie where she was arrested. And these scenes are so well acted by Linda Hamilton, where she's trying to insist that people listen to her, that the apocalypse is coming, we're all going to die, computers are going to take over, and of course, it's 1991, everybody's just calling her crazy.
Yep, and very much like 12 Monkeys.
Oh, great parallel, so much like 12 Monkeys, you're so right. This is where we pick up Sarah Connor through the rest of the movie, which is great, and I love how Linda Hamilton insisted to James Cameron. Now, this is before they were married. They did not get married until, ironically, 1997, which is right around Judgment Day, is what they call it when the machines take over. They were married for 2 years. They had a kid together. So this was before Linda and he were together, but she said, I will only come back for the sequel if Sarah Connor is allowed to have had some growth where she is now stronger, but also super outspoken and everyone thinks she's crazy. I don't want to play the same character again, nor should I, given what she went through. So true. Yeah. And this is such a great character development, so similar to Aliens, where Ellen Ripley in the first first Alien, super scared, right? And in the second movie, the sequel that James Cameron did direct, total badass.
Oh, yeah.
And I love the way James Cameron handles the growth of his female characters. I think that's another reason why it was such a stark contrast for me watching The Dark Knight, because I watched The Dark Knight after Terminator 2. And so watching a strong female character in T2 and then watching The Dark Knight, I was like, oh man, this is so different. It really highlighted what the issue was for me. So that could have had something to do with it too.
Sure.
And so now we are following along with the Connors, Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the T-101 while they are trying to escape not only from the cops, because she has now broken out of a mental institution, but also this T-1000, a liquid metal Terminator who is unstoppable, who is worlds better and deadlier than Arnold's Terminator. And so they're all at a very big disadvantage. And they're going through not only the streets of LA, but most of Southern California, trying to hide, trying to escape these people and this killing machine while keeping John alive, because the entire fate and future of the human race relies on him surviving. And so that is the premise of Terminator 2. I love this film. I've been watching it for nearly 35 years, as many as it's been released. And there's just so many aspects of this movie that I absolutely love. The practicality of so many of these car chases and action sequences. Robert Patrick taking this role so seriously and working with a professional to craft his run. So not only could he run the way he does in the style that he does, but also so he could run without opening his mouth, because he wanted to be able to always breathe through his nose, so he looked like he didn't have to, because he's just a machine. He shouldn't have to, right? And he wanted that to translate through the screen. He got so good at running that he was able to catch up with Edward Furlong's little motorcycle.
Yeah, so nuts.
Arnold worked really hard on this film too. There's a section of the LA Aqueduct chase scene where he's cocking this lever action shotgun with one hand. It took him a couple weeks to perfect it. I love it so much. It's such a badass way to cock a gun, and just really conveys the kind of efficiency he needs as a killing machine too. And he had to work really hard on it, and there were a bunch of times that he messed up, and like he would almost hit Edward Furlong, and he would like scrape up his hands and pinch himself and all this stuff, and he had to work really hard at that, and I'm so glad he did, because I love that scene so much. There is another big building explosion in this movie too, just like yours, which is a lot of fun to watch. And that that building is very familiar to both of us. It's a classic in LA, and there are small bits of this movie that are funny as well. There are some really funny lines. My sister and I used to repeat all the time, "Say, that's a nice bike."
Yeah.
And there are a lot of great philosophical questions in this movie, especially looking at it in a lens from 2026.
Oh, yeah.
There's a moment where Arnold Schwarzenegger says to John Connor as a human, "It's in your nature to destroy yourselves." And there are a lot of great conversations around that in the movie, including the classic ones that we all say to this day, including "Hasta la vista, baby." This is a classic action movie. It still holds up, especially all the CGI. Absolutely incredible. When the T-1000 is that black and white checkered flooring in the hospital.
Yeah, so cool. Totally.
It looks so good still to this day. So I had so much fun revisiting this film. I hope you did too. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say about it.
I love this movie, and similar to you, I have been watching this movie for, I would say, at least 32 years.
Nice.
I didn't see it in theaters. I really would have loved to, but first time I saw it was on TV, so I think the only thing that was actually edited were the fucks out of the movie, because nothing
there's violent-wise
was ever... No, there's not really any blood at all, and it's machine against machine, so it's not like human against human, so it's not some sort of like explicitly violent flick.
The T-1000 does kill people in some pretty vicious ways, though.
Yes, it absolutely does. Yeah, but they were on TV. They didn't cut any of that. One of my favorite ones, I think, is when the T-1000 is pretending to be John's foster mom, and she just smashes the guy through the face with this arm of metal, and oh gosh, watching, and it definitely was crazy, but the practicality of effects that they used in that scene, and there's another one that you'll talk about in just a second, I'm sure. But when I was a kid and I saw this movie the first time, the scene that scared the ever-living hell out of me was the nuclear bomb going off in Sarah Connor's dream.
Yes.
That scene scared me so bad
that
I actually couldn't watch this movie for a couple of years after seeing it for the first first time. I even told
Fair.
my parents, like, I don't think I can watch this movie again because that was so scary. And then like 5 years later, the double DVD came out, and I went to Best Buy and I called my dad from Best Buy. I was like, Dad, there's Terminator 2 on DVD. Should I get it? He goes, hell yeah. So I bought it. I went home and we watched it and had so much fun. And the cool thing with that double DVD was on the second, there were 3 cuts of the film, and there was one DVD that was like a 4-hour long vignette documentary. And I watched that thing so many times. Like I would stay up late at night and use AIM and talk to my buddy Kingsley and Andrew, and I would have a little screen on the corner of my screen playing the BTS of Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And there was an awesome book inside about the making of it, similar to the making of Titanic book that I have, a lot smaller in the DVD case. But I now have this movie on 4K. I've been watching it for so long. It's been 5 years since I've seen it. Beyond the special effects, the movie moves along so fast. It's almost 2.5 hours, but it feels like it's just like a 15, 20-minute movie. The time flies by. And I love the future aspect of it. I love the past aspect of it. All of the kick-ass action is so good. Robert Patrick always did freak me out as a kid. And then I remember when I saw Wayne's World, that was one of the best cameos in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And Schwarzenegger was great. Just, it worked out for him to just be one of those, just very stoic in this movie. Granted, he's a robot, so he's got to be emotionless. And the interesting thing is, I don't know if you're going to get into any of the other cuts of the movie. Well, there, like I said, on the DVD, there were 3 cuts of the movie. On the 4K, there's 3 cuts of the movie. And I've watched all of them, similar to the 3 different cuts of the first Avatar that are out there. I've watched all these cuts several different times. And there's a moment in Terminator 2, the R-rated theatrical cut, where he picks up that big gun and gives him a little smirk. And John Connor's like, that's more like it. That comes from a scene from another version of the movie where John Connor's teaching him how to smile. And it's fucking hysterical.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so funny. And there are I think one of the other cuts has like 15 minutes, another one has 8 minutes, similar to Avatar. Like James Cameron just shoots so much material. Anyway, this is your pick. I don't want to get too much into the BTS and all that stuff.
No,
but
please. I didn't find too much, and I actually haven't seen other cuts of this film before, only because I haven't had the opportunity to, not because I didn't want to.
Sure.
I only knew of it similar to Aliens, where it just fills in a couple of knowledge gaps for you. It doesn't explicitly change the film outright or the plot or message, unlike the Abyss director's cut, which I did pick previously because it completely changes the movie.
Yes.
But this is more like Aliens, where the extra scenes are more like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's really good to know. Not, my gosh, this changes everything.
Right. Yeah, and it's totally awesome. So the scene, I recommend watching the other cuts because they're not vastly different, but there are scenes that allude to other moments in the movie. The theatrical cut that like completely get lost because they just weren't used. And of course, as an audience, we're none the wiser because we didn't see those cuts. And that scene where he gives him that grin, it's like, oh, this Terminator's somehow now learned how to smile because he's been hanging out with this kid that smiles and laughs and whatnot. But no, it's like a 5-minute scene where he's like, yeah, people smile when they're happy. And there's a whole other moment in that same scene where John Connor tells him about why people cry. And there is that scene in the theatrical cut, but it's a little bit longer, and he talks about more other reasons why people start crying. But Arnold Schwarzenegger learning how to smile scene in Terminator, the other cut, is hilarious. But I love this movie. I think I even bought the 4K for my dad a couple of years ago because my dad's a big fan of this movie. Just kick-ass action, and I love, similar to The Dark Knight, and it's actually kind of reminds me of Ludwig Göransson's score in Tenet. Whenever the T-101 Schwarzenegger pulls up, there's this like bell sort of metallic soundtrack when he shows up, but then when the T-1000's chasing him, it's this screechy, like intense piece of music. So like they each have their own theme for the movie. And on top of that, the soundtrack itself is just so awesome. So, major fan of this movie. James Cameron just did a kick-ass job. And there's another really badass moment, and I'm sure you would bring this up. Linda Hamilton has a twin. And they utilize her twin in a moment in this movie. And I learned that when I was watching the DVD special features like more than 15 years ago. We're in 2025 for crying out loud.
No, we're
this
in 2026, actually.
Thank you. We're in 2026 for crying out loud. That's why I was always, anyway. But when I got this DVD, it had to have been like 2001, 2002. So it was over now 20 years ago.
Oh, dear God, 25 years ago since 2001. That's insane.
Yeah, it's brutal. But I remember watching this moment on the BTS where they utilized Linda Hamilton's twin for this scene where they're trying to get the bullet out of his skull. They didn't even have to use a mirror because they had Linda Hamilton's twin on the other side.
Yes, they utilize her twin several times in both these movies, which is really great. And they also utilize another twin because they cast twins for the security guard at the Pescadero State Prison. And there's a scene where the T-1000, he can mimic anything he touches, which is why we're talking about twins and two people who look exactly the same facing each other. And so the guard...
isn't there a movie called Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Oh, yeah, and Robert Patrick's in it.
Is Robert Patrick in it?
No, I'm totally kidding. That would have been hilarious, though.
God. I was like, I don't remember him. I remember Danny DeVito.
No, that would be really funny.
Wow.
But yeah, and so they actually, instead of using CGI, just cast someone who had a twin so they could both be in that scene together, and it looks so much better than if they would have tried to.
Yeah.
Nowadays with CGI, it's much more believable. I mean, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, I kept looking for the seams in the shots where they cut in the second piece of him filming, and I could not find it. I could not find it in Sinners at all. Not one scene could I see where...
it was pretty seamless.
It was. It's really well done. But yeah, practicality for the win. Just hire twins.
Hell yeah. And speaking of twins, like in Social Network, there are moments where you can see the shimmer, like on whatever that actor's name. What the hell
Armie
was that
Hammer.
guy's name? Armie Hammer, where he's playing the twins. Yeah, that was like, oh, well, that's definitely another body. But
twins,
the
Basil.
twin thing was
Twins.
pretty sweet. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of this movie. I love it.
So Linda's twin is named Leslie, and the identical twins for the hospital security guard are Dawn and Dan Stanton.
Dawn and Dan.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
That's funny. Oh, no, that's it. That's pretty much my love for T2. I have just been a major fan of this movie since I was a kid.
Same. I'm so glad you love it as much as I do.
And like you, I saw this before I saw Terminator. So
yes,
I had my Terminator love turned on because of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and that's why I enjoy Terminator as well.
Well, and then for us, it was so crazy going backwards that way because we would watch the Terminator and go, oh no, Arnold, what are you doing?
Right.
It's pretty awesome. But got the classic lines, I'll be back, in both of these movies, which is great. And as I said, James Cameron and Linda Hamilton ended up getting married a few years later, but they did actually start having a relationship during the making of this film, which is awkward considering he was still divorcing Catherine Bigelow at the time. Even though Linda Hamilton and James Cameron married in 1997, they divorced 2 years later after James had started an affair with Susie Amos, who is the granddaughter of the older Rose in Titanic.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So apparently James Cameron...
gets around.
Well, I was going to say he likes to shit where he eats because that's where the saying comes from. It's like, you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep it professional, dude. What are you doing? Next, it turns out he's having an affair with Zoe Saldana. I'm kidding.
That would be something.
I'm not going to start that rumor, please, people. I'm not going to start.
Yeah, just a joke.
Slandering anyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, so not only is Linda Hamilton, well, she was made famous by these two films. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
Terminator and Terminator 2. But also, she's been in a couple other things. These were her main claims to fame. She is in a great guilty pleasure of mine called Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Dante's Peak.
It's awful, but I don't care.
Terrible movie.
Oh,
Terrible
it's
movie.
really...
Volcano was so much better.
What? I can't even form words. Yeah. I'm so upset about that statement.
No, Volcano's great.
Bullshit. No. Even though Tommy Lee Jones is in it, no, absolutely not. Anne Heche, no.
Don Cheadle.
Dante's Peak is
John Carroll Lynch.
Better. You know what? We could have a Volcano off, and you pick Volcano, and I pick Dante's Peak.
Oh, I'm totally down. 100% in for that.
All right, we're going to do that and then
2027's first episode, Dante's Peak and Volcano.
We're going to have our audience vote on which one they like better. It's going to be great.
Oh, I love that idea. Everybody will say Volcano.
No, God, no. But Linda Hamilton was also in a... Speaking of terrible things that are awesome, a show that was on for a couple seasons called Beauty and the Beast with Ron Perlman.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Are you serious? I've never heard of this in my life.
Please look up
Where
photos
is it
and
streaming?
posters of that show.
Oh my god.
The costumes and makeup. Oh god, so worth looking up.
Beauty and the Beast. Ron Perlman, I can already imagine.
Oh, yeah. Peak. Anyway, so there's that. More recently, she's been in some shows. She's actually in Resident Alien. She's a general, which is really cool.
Oh, sweet.
She most recently was in the last season of Stranger Things as Dr. K. So a lot of our listeners, can recognize her from that, though.
Yeah.
All right, so Arnold
I just
Schwarzenegger.
don't get it with that show. I don't know.
We're gonna lose a lot of listeners if you keep talking, so please don't. It's a very popular show. Shut up. I'm not going to voice my opinion. So,
all right, that's
Arnold
cool.
Schwarzenegger instead. We're going to talk about him because we do really like him on this show. He's been in several of movies that we've picked. True Lies, Jingle All the Way. He had a very short cameo in Dave, which was one of my very early picks.
Oh, yeah.
He's also in some other movies that I think are really fun. You do too, that we'll probably pick in the future, and they're pretty underrated. You really like The Sixth Day.
Oh, I love The Sixth Day.
Which is really
so
fun.
Good.
Tony Goldwyn.
Yeah.
God, he's so
Michael
good.
Rooker and Robert Duvall. Yeah, 6 Days. Awesome.
And I also really like him in End of Days.
You know, I tried to watch End of Days this last October. I got about 15 minutes in and I shut that shit off.
I haven't seen it
That
in like
movie
15 years.
awful.
I haven't seen it in a really long time, so who knows? But I liked Gabriel Byrne playing the devil. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, but you cannot dislike Eraser with Vanessa Williams.
Oh, Erasers.
James
Kick-ass.
Caan.
Yeah.
James Colburn.
Oh my gosh, he's in that? Wow.
Yeah, he's the director.
I haven't seen Eraser, and the last time I watched Eraser, I rented it from the library. It was like 2001, I think. I watched it on my computer in my bedroom like 13 times, and then I brought it back because I had a huge crush on Vanessa Williams at the time.
Rightly so. And
No, totally.
Arnold is also in the classics Total Recall and Predator.
Love Total Recall. I've got that on 4K, and the OG Predator, baby.
Yeah, great movies.
So good.
And then Joe Morton plays Miles Dyson. He is not the inventor of the Dyson vacuum cleaner, but he is instead a software developer. I know that was a terrible joke. It's fine. I'm keeping it in. And
That was pretty bad.
we like Joe Morton on the show because not only is he Keanu Reeves' boss in Speed,
Oh, yeah.
but he's also amazing in this film. So it was really nice to see
he's
him
great.
again.
Miles Bennett Dyson.
He also is in a show called Eureka that I really, really enjoyed when it was on, and he's great in that too.
I remember that show on Sci-Fi. I never watched it, but I always wanted to.
Oh, it's 5 seasons.
Wasn't he like a vacuum? What was he?
A vacuum?
The main dude. No, he wasn't a vacuum. I'm saying like he was like an exterminator, wasn't he?
No, he's a sheriff, but he's dumb, and in Eureka, everybody's brilliant. They're all scientists and stuff, so I like to rewatch it every couple years. Definitely recommend it.
All right.
Anyway, so beyond the cast, James Cameron, as we've said, directed and wrote this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We sure do love him on this podcast. First of all, he wrote the script, though he didn't direct. Alita, Battle Angel, which is your pick from episode number 2.
Yes.
He, of course, wrote and directed Titanic, previous pick of yours.
Oh, yeah.
As I always like to say, a one-night stand where 1,500 people died. But he wrote and directed True Lies, one of our favorite movies.
Yes.
I said The Abyss. Watch the director's cut, people.
Oh, yeah.
Aliens, another past pick of mine. He has been wasting his talents on the Avatar movies for the past 2 decades. There's just so many other. He could be making other movies. That's all I'm saying. Like, he writes and directs incredible action films. He could be doing more. That's all I'm saying. But instead, he's dedicating 100% of his brainpower on Avatar.
Well, that might all change. You never know.
James Cameron also created a show called Dark Angel that was really good for the brief period it was on. Jessica Alba was the star of that show. It was good. And he also wrote and directed Strange Days and, of course, the original of this movie, The Terminator.
Yeah.
And this was the first movie to break $300 million at the international box office.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was shot in 8 months compared to the first movie's 6-week filming schedule.
Ho, 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 ho. Wow.
It had a budget of $102 million, which in 91 is a lot.
Hell yeah, it is.
But in the US, it made $205 million, and worldwide, it made $518. So it did well.
Okay. Hell yeah.
And there's a moment in this movie where both Sarah and John Connor are trying to escape from the T-1000 along with the T-101 played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they run into an elevator and they start firing off guns. And I remember thinking to myself, they would be so deaf. Because
totally.
Shooting a gun in any enclosed space is going to completely ruin your hearing, either temporarily or permanently. And I love how the show Archer addresses that so often, where they actually talk about their hearing being damaged because they're firing guns in closed spaces like cars and stuff like that. Anyway, so unfortunately, Linda Hamilton suffered permanent hearing damage in one ear during that elevator shootout scene because she didn't put her earplugs back in after removing them between takes. And even with blanks, those guns are so loud. That's a problem. So.
Oh, yeah. It's one of my favorite moments in Companion from last year when Eli shoots the gun and like 2 seconds later he's like, ow, that was fucking loud.
Yeah, I love that so much. I'm like, thank you, realism. It's important. And there's a scene in this movie where it's cool, but people don't realize just how amazing it is. Because at one point, the T-1000 gets into a helicopter and tells the guy to get out. And that is the real stunt helicopter pilot for all of the scenes.
Oh, cool.
And he's chasing everyone, and he flies under an overpass on an LA freeway. And it looks amazing, but you're like, oh, that was cool. Moving on. And in reality, that was such a dangerous scene to film. You have to be an exceptional pilot to pull something like that off. And that scene happened because James Cameron was really worried about CGI looking fake. He asked if the pilot could just fly under the bridge for real, and he did. But it was so dangerous, the camera crew refused to film it.
Oh, wow.
And so James Cameron filmed the shot himself twice. Once with the camera car driving behind the helicopter, and then once when it was in front of the helicopter. But I really love telling people about that scene because while it's awesome, it's just kind of a throwaway scene in an otherwise great action movie because there's just so much other incredible action. You don't really remember that. But it's such a crucial stunt. And I really want people to recognize it how monumental it really is. So I like to talk about that one.
Hell yeah. Cameron really likes helicopters.
And more power to him because helicopters are really cool and always make things way more badass.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate how you mentioned the nuclear blast scene. It scared the crap out of me when I was a kid, too. The special effects team, Stan Winston, actually, who we both are aware of, great special effects guru, he and his team studied hours of nuclear test footage. Funny enough, could have been Oppenheimer's tests.
Ah, yeah.
Anyway, they studied hours of nuclear testing footage in order to make that nightmare scene look as realistic as possible. And they built a miniature of Los Angeles. Some of the materials they used were crackers and shredded wheat, which is cool. But after each take of the nuclear blast, it would take an average of 2 days to set the model back up again.
Whoa.
Which sounds
that's wild.
Painstakingly awful.
No, I'll bet that was intense.
And so then when the movie came out, several members of the U.S. Federal Nuclear Testing Labs unofficially declared it the most accurate depiction of a nuclear blast ever created for a fictional motion picture.
Wow. Yeah, even now it's still scary watching that
absolutely.
Shit. It's oh, man. I've seen nuclear test footage, of course. You see the trees and all the dust and everything and just leveling of buildings. It's man. And it really, it's terrifying in this movie.
It is. So hats off to Stan Winston because it's a pivotal piece of this movie and one of the things that drives the plot and the characters forward. So it's really nice, even now, 35 years later, that you can take that scene as seriously as you do.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a moment in the film that my family and I have always really liked. My whole family likes this film, but I've never really understood why it happened. So the T-1000 has a ripple go through his body.
Oh, yeah.
Which is such a cool CGI scene. Visual effects, incredible. Still hold up to this day.
Hell yeah.
On the special edition of this movie, they say that because of all the things that the T-1000 has gone through, he's actually gotten a bit damaged. And so he has some problems maintaining his form and color, so it regularly has to, quote unquote, reset itself. And so that ripple is him kind of resetting his body and the structure that he's currently occupying.
That's so cool.
So I'm glad that researching the trivia this week, I finally have an explanation of why that ripple came into play. And it makes total sense. Unfortunately, it's only on the special edition, though.
Oh yeah, I've seen that as well. It's certainly badass. I never put it together that he's resetting his metal alloy, but that's pretty badass stuff.
Yeah, and it totally makes sense, which is nice. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. James Cameron has been making monumental blockbusters since the 80s, since the Terminator, and has done so ever since. To this day, Avatar 3 is now currently in theaters, and Terminator 2 was actually nominated for 6 Oscars.
Oh, very cool.
Best Cinematography by Adam Greenberg. Best Sound, which so much of this movie was Foleyed and ADR'd.
Oh, yeah.
They said something like 75% of it was.
Wow.
So that means it totally deserved the win for Best Sound.
Nice.
It was also nominated for Best Film Editing and Best Makeup. It won for Best Visual Effects and Best Sound Effects Editing. So it won 3
cool.
Oscars, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
And it also currently stands at number 28 on IMDb's list of top 250 movies ever.
Perfect.
So that is Terminator 2. Yeah, me too. And that is Terminator 2 Judgment Day, currently streaming on Hulu. And those are our 2 kick-ass action movies to open 2026 with. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We hope you enjoy both of these films and maybe revisit them.
Yeah.
And John, I'm wondering if you would watch The Dark Knight with your grandma.
I did watch it with my grandmother.
Nice.
At least once. I know that. Yeah, my grandma enjoyed it.
Awesome.
And you clearly have watched Terminator 2 Judgment Day with your family members and your grandma.
I think I watched it with my dad's mom at some point 'cause she would come over to the house a lot. I think maybe, but
Sweet.
it just depends on your grandma and if they like action movies. And I think The Dark Knight can be watched by, well, the Joker is pretty terrifying. So I think both of these movies should be watched by kids like 12 and above, depending on their tolerance.
10 and above is fine.
No, there's a lot of cursing and a lot of violence in both of these films.
I would say there's definitely more cursing in yours. Yours is R-rated and mine
Yeah.
is PG-13. So
True.
If I were a 10-year-old boy, I guarantee you my parents would have taken me to see The Dark Knight.
Okay. Well, I think it's just tolerance level, but otherwise I think
Yeah.
anyone in a family could watch these movies and have a really good time with them.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, well, it's always nice to start the year off with a bang. Thank you all so much for joining us. We actually are going to do a memorial episode next week, just because of the timing of everything and us usually doing holiday movies in December. We decided to hold off until this month to do this in memoriam episode. John, do you want to tell everybody what we're doing next week?
We are going to revisit the career of Rob Reiner. Rest in peace. We lost him just a couple weeks ago. Very, very tragically. And I think we've only done one of his movies here so
2.
far.
Each of us have done one because I picked The Princess Bride.
Oh, that's right. Yes. And I did When Harry Met Sally. So we
That's
have
right.
done 2. Now we will do 2 more. My pick is a doozy. I don't think have you seen it?
No, but
Okay, great.
after I got in my motorcycle accident back in 2006 and broke my ankle, somebody sent me the YouTube clip of the specific scene in
Oh.
that movie, which I didn't appreciate.
Oh boy, oh boy.
It was a friend of mine joking around. It
Yeah.
was dark comedy. It was
That's
fine.
quite a dark joke indeed. Well, if that's no hint as to what I am choosing a movie adapted from a Stephen King novel, screenplay written by William Goldman, who also wrote The Princess Bride.
She's so crazy.
This film is directed by Rob Reiner, starring James Caan and Kathy Bates. This is Misery. And if you care to follow along, it is currently streaming on HBO Max. I am going to watch my VHS copy.
Nice.
Yeah, and V, what Rob Reiner flick are you choosing?
I'm really not looking forward to watching your film. I think I might have to turn away a couple times. But I do love Kathy Bates, so.
Yes.
I am choosing a completely different Rob Reiner film, totally
Yeah.
different genre. I love it when we do that sometimes on this podcast where we go in different directions. This screenplay was actually written by Aaron Sorkin, which is a lot of fun, starring Tom Cruise, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, Jack Nicholson. I can go on and on. This cast in this movie is completely stacked. A lot of fun.
Wow.
I'm really excited to introduce John to this movie because he actually hasn't seen it before.
I have never seen it.
I am talking about A Few Good Men.
Nice.
You can rent it from most streaming services.
Sweet. I will also watch my VHS copy.
Hey, cool. Okay, I was a little bit worried you'd have to rent it, so that's actually pretty cool.
No, I have a VHS copy of it. I've actually tried to watch it twice, but I turned it off after the first 15 minutes both times. Not for any reason, or I can't remember why. But I wasn't bored. I think
Okay.
maybe Amy wanted to watch something, and I
Oh,
I
thank
can't
God.
remember exactly
Okay.
why. But
I thought you were going to deliver
so
bad
I'm
news.
excited to watch it.
A week
no,
early.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I'm excited to watch it.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you. And so please tune in next Wednesday for those two movies and that discussion, and just celebrating Rob Reiner's life, of course, too. Such a wonderful director, actor, human. So happy to celebrate him on this podcast. And
Yeah.
in the meantime, please continue to follow along and listen to us. And even though it's 2026, we will still always end this podcast with film as a form of art, and in art, every opinion is valid, except if you think...
Actually, except if we think we're still over 30 short from 40.
We are no longer.
No longer short from 40.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Happy New Year. And until next week, bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Cheers, everybody.